Today I'll discuss some text messages that you can send to your ex to get them thinking about you again, to rebuild some of the attraction, and eventually hope to get back together with them. Keep watching and subscribe to channel for latest updates. Let's get start. How to send text messages to your ex. Would you like to impress your ex, but you don't know how best to do that? Remember, you have a great resource at your disposal today. You probably guessed it, your mobile phone. But then you are not there yet. Because how to get back your ex by text message or WhatsApp, that all seems so simple, but it is certainly not. The chances of using the wrong words are high. It is therefore important to know what to take into account. You will discover all this in this video. Texting doesn't convey the same sort of neediness or desperation that phoning or in-person visits would convey, because text message is a very casual, simple no more than typically a few sentences, so it's very casual, doesn't convey neediness the same way that other means of communication do. Also, there's no pressure for your ex to respond, so sometimes you don't want to be pushing your ex into feeling like they need to respond, so that's another reason why texting is great, because it doesn't put any pressure on your ex. Getting back your ex by SMS is a very efficient way to reconnect. Your ex doesn't wanna hear your breakup, they don't wanna hear about the relationship. With a little humor in your message you can break the ice, especially if there is a certain tension. If you are relaxed, your ex will certainly notice that. This can be very refreshing for the relationship with your ex, especially if he or she was not used to this new style of communication. If you are not, you could risk deteriorating your relationship with your ex. Do not worry. If you follow the directions in this video closely, texting your ex will be much easier for you. Not only with your ex, but even with any other person you would like to get to know better. There are several rules to respect if you want to get back your ex with a text message. On the one hand, you should avoid falling into the friend zone by taking a little more distance. On the other hand, you also take care not to take up too much distance again. However, let us first determine these two questions: when and why getting back your ex by text message is a good idea. When you approach ex by text message, you must take a long time away from your ex after the breakup. If you bomb your ex immediately after the breakup with hundreds of text messages, you considerably reduce your chances of getting back together. The emotions have run so high after the breakup that your ex isn't open to flattering comments. Before I go any further, I have to give you a quick warning here: you can't just send these text messages right now if you're not prepared. Your ex will rather see it as slime. You also make yourself very unattractive. So make sure to relax first. You will see that after a few weeks you can think much more creatively and you are better able to formulate the right message. Why approach your ex by text message? Perhaps your environment tells you that you have all the qualities to appeal to someone. After all, you are a nice woman or a nice guy. You look good. Your smile is heavenly, in short, nothing to complain about. Yet, now it's all about getting back your ex, which is quite tricky. What do you do when there are tensions? You may ask yourself, what does my ex think of me? Does she still find me attractive enough? Intelligent enough? Do I still like the character? And is it just those stupid quarrels or mere blunders that were the last straw and the reason for breaking up? In short, you feel so insecure about all these questions that you hardly manage to send a not threatening, but cool message. One that your ex will think, so hey, how different this sounds than I am used to. What should I answer? Sending text messages or WhatsApp messages back and forth is a psychological game. How you mentally do it all determines your success in seducing your ex. There are 4 reasons, or earlier said, benefits, why it is interesting to approach your ex per text message. Number 1. Seduction by text message is indirect. The top seducers in the world know better than anyone that to achieve results it is necessary to stay under the radar. In other words, you remain discreet about your plans. In any case, this applies to the initial phase. Once a text message is properly written, it may even shook up your ex. Your ex will wonder if your goal is to seduce him or her, or if you are after just a nice chat. Thanks to this form of communication, you can, therefore, create doubts. Your ex will not immediately understand what you intend. So you will have to be less direct and less predictable about your goal. Imagine you walk on the street and you see a beautiful woman come by. She sees you, she sees how you look at her, and she immediately thinks you want her number. She will never surprise, does he like me, because she knows you already like her. After all, you take action. But if you send a message according to the push and pull strategy, you can make it a bit insecure. You make her wonder all kinds of things, not only about you but also about herself. Because she is busy with all these questions in her head, she unconsciously attaches more and more to you. The advantage of decorating remotely through a text message is that it is not about your non-verbal behavior at that time. Great if you are a bit shy or you think you are not so charismatic. On the other hand, you may be very good at writing. You can take the first step via a text message. After all, it is an accessible means of communication. Whether you are male or female, it is easier for both to take the initiative. Number 2. An SMS is simply less intrusive. Decorating by text message has another advantage, which is that it appears less intrusive. Of course, you avoid continuously asking the same question again. Patience is a must here. Your ex doesn't wanna hear your breakup, they don't wanna hear about the relationship. Text messaging should only be for sending fun, interesting things that gonna rebuild your attraction, get your ex positively thinking about you, and of course that also means no drama, no anger, no conflict. To ensure that you build good communication, you can think in advance about different topics that you can bring in. Think of what your ex finds interesting, what he or she is sensitive to, or is happy about. Take a pen and paper and put down some ideas. Be tactful and think of the right timing. More about this in the next point. Number 3. The correct timing for sending your text message. On the one hand, you can say that you can send a message via WhatsApp or text message when it suits you, but sometimes you must ensure correct timing. Here's a good tip: don't send messages to your ex if you know he or she is at a party or attending a special occasion. This reduces the chance that your ex will answer your message. So your message should arrive if you are sure that your ex has a moment off at that moment, or if you have found out through the media that she has just experienced something fun. Your ex will also be in a better mood. If you are interested in what it was like and you know in advance that your ex will appreciate it, choose such a moment. Of course, don't panic as soon as you notice that your ex isn't responding immediately. Don't immediately think your ex is aloof. Show that you have patience and that you don't like it if you don't get an immediate answer. And what if your ex sends you a message in the middle of the night? I'm sure you'll be curious about what your ex is sending. If you received this message via WhatsApp and you look, your ex will see that you are online. Our advice: do not respond immediately. Now is the time to put your ex in security. Your ex will be wondering, why isn't she reacting at such a weird moment now, and that's exactly what you want to achieve. If you don't respond immediately, your ex will expect you to do it the next day. So make sure you don't react until the next day. Preferably do that with a funny sentence that creates a lot of positivity. This can be a funny statement with which you immediately break the ice. Don't forget to add that you also had a very nice night. There are 5 pitfalls when sending a text to your ex. It's always a lot of fun to seduce someone through a text message, especially when it comes to your ex. However, it is important to pay attention to pitfalls, as they can immediately eliminate the effect of your text messages or other decoration tours. Number 1. Strive for the perfect text message. Not only will you find yourself getting better at coming up with an opening, you will also become increasingly skilled in keeping good communication going. That is because you learn to observe well. You will be able to focus more and more on the details. It is of course fantastic if you are good at sending text messages or text messages. However, you are not there yet. You will need to map out your ex's needs and be flexible. In every situation there is something positive or negative. You will need to know which actions to deploy at what time. Keep a close eye on how your ex responds to the different things you say. It is of course not the intention that you become overstrained in a manner of speaking if you keep thinking that your messages can be improved. Perfectionism can get in your way, so be careful not to let it hold you if you suddenly have a brilliant idea. Taking risks is simply part of getting your ex back. Number 2. Present yourself better than you are. If you want to impress your ex, stay as close to yourself as possible. Your ex will notice if you are no longer authentic. So don't exaggerate, and don't hesitate to be vulnerable at times. If you do that the right way, your ex will appreciate you very much, which in turn creates a stronger bond. Number 3. Misjudging your ex. Speaking of risks, you can't be sure about everything, and especially not how your ex will react. Your job is to ensure that you always remain respectful and understanding of your ex. You also make sure that your ex likes to be in contact with you. So keep the threshold for your ex as low as possible. Undoubtedly there will come a time when you think, oops, I shouldn't have said that. You may have misjudged your ex. Apologizing is certainly something to remember, but don't overdo it. Instead of saying, "Sorry, I didn't mean that like that," you better say, "I don't like knowing that I just said something that hurt you. I meant well, but I misjudged you. I now understand better what you mean." This shows that you can empathize well with your ex. Such a message arrives better than if you just say, "Sorry." So explain what you feel. Number 4. Panic too quickly. As discussed earlier in this article, it's possible that when you try to reclaim your ex through text messages, you can panic quickly. Especially if your ex does not respond immediately when you see that he or she is online. Do not send question marks anyway. Don't insist because you won't get it. On the contrary, you risk that your ex will start to get annoyed by your behavior. On the other hand, it can also be that you are sensitive to written words. We are not all sensitive to the same things. Thus one can be sensitive to written language and the other again by hearing it. Find out which message comes to you the most and be aware of it. Your ex may also experience it differently than you experience it. Number 5. Stick around in the friend zone. Communicating with your ex via text messages can of course result in a very pleasant affair. The danger, however, is that at some point you will get stuck in the friend zone. As soon as you notice that your ex wants nothing more than just communicating via WhatsApp or text message, it is time to distance yourself. It is the perfect time for that. Your ex expects you to just keep on talking, but if you suddenly react less quickly, or suddenly change the tone, that will make your ex think, and that is exactly the goal. Finally, we will tell you which 3 general rules apply when communicating by text message with your ex. So far we have addressed several important points in the question of how best to decorate your place by text message. We have paid attention to the 2 W questions, why and when. The pros and cons. The importance of timing. The pitfalls. How to get back your ex by text message. The 3 main rules. What we also want to give you are 3 points that you can keep in mind. Think of it as 3 tips you can put to good use once you plan on getting back your ex by text message. Incidentally, that applies to any form of the text message. There are 3 most important main rules when getting back your ex by text message. 1. Keep the goal in mind. The goal of communicating with your ex by text message or WhatsApp remains restoring the trust and not primarily getting back. In fact, by this we mean that it is important that you focus on creating intimacy, togetherness. Your ex will have to get the feeling, yes, we are a really good team together, so focus on that first step, maintaining a good, positive contact that is accessible to both parties. Remember, your ex needs intimacy, positive energy, a carefree partner. So put yourself in your ex's shoes and ask yourself how you would respond to the message you plan to send. If you need help sending the right message in a certain situation, then read this page in which I tell you more about it. Number 2. Think of it as a game. As soon as you start seeing communication with your ex via text messages as a game, you are on the right track. It should certainly not be stressful for you, because then it is better to decide not to. Forget the traditional questions, the ones you used to send out, and show what makes you so unique. Ask questions that are surprising and motivating that you know your ex will enjoy answering. Showing that you are different from others makes an impression. Number 3. Know what you have to offer. Realize that we are on this globe with 7 billion people. So ask yourself why your ex would be interested in you in particular. Before closing the communication, you think about the question, do I have delivered added value? Did I manage to inspire my ex? He or she will want to keep in touch with me. Don't ask intimidating questions or embarrass your ex. Keeping this in mind, you will be less concerned about what I'm texting to my ex. Do you follow these rules? You will see that communication with your ex is getting better and you know the answers to the sometimes difficult question how to get back your ex by text message. So if you want to know more about excellent ways on how to get your ex to text you back, then I highly suggest you go check out the description link below. It will give you all the information you need to start winning them back today.